What's up, guys? I'm Frosted Sandwich. Welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Today, we are going through the patch notes for the second half of Season 1. They were leaked, and there's a lot of character changes here, so yeah, some of them I'm a little sad about, some of them I'm happy about. Let's get into it. All right, Venom. Increased threat after entering the battlefield. Reduce the energy required for the ultimate skill. The direction of the knock-up effect on enemies after Frenzy Landing hits has been changed from vertical knock-up to inward knock-up, with an inward knock-up angle of 75 degrees. The energy required for Feast ultimate skill has been adjusted from 2800 to 2500. All right, so you're going to be able to ult more often as Venom, which I think is very good for him, because I definitely think he relies a lot on his ult to be able to get in and really initiate the team fights and be effective in them. Otherwise, you're kind of just a harass character and you're trying to poke the backline and maybe kill a healer or two and then get out and repeat over and over. It's only when you really have your ultimate that you can kind of like go in and actually start dealing real damage to the enemy team. So I think Venom definitely needed a buff. I don't think he was a very good tank, even with the changes they made in the beginning of the season. I don't think it was enough to put him in the meta, so I'm happy to see this. All right, Captain America also kind of needed some love, so I'm expecting most of these to be buffs. Increase survivability during continuous combat, optimize the feel of using the Vibranium Energy Shield, and reduce the energy required for the ultimate skill. Added the ability to use Absolute Will for defense during jumps. So those that I don't know what Absolute Will is. Is that his passive? I don't know. The projectile speed of the Vibranium Energy Shield has been increased from 60 meters per second to 80 meters per second, and the ricochet speed after hitting has been increased from 100 meters per second to 150 meters per second. So he's going to be throwing his shield a lot faster. The energy required for free call ultimate skill has been adjusted from 3100 to 2800. Very good. Again, it looks like the some of the weaker tanks are going to be able to ult more often, which I think is a plus for them. Optimized Captain America's combat experience, separated light shield strike from melee attacks. Now Captain America can use melee attacks in the flying shield state in link state to activate the first two stages of light shield strike at the same time. When in the air, Captain America uses melee attacks will no longer trigger the divine weapon descent skill. Okay. Interesting. I don't know enough about Captain America to really know if this is a good enough change or not. So if you're a Captain America main in the comments and you're looking at these changes, let me know. Do you think this is enough? Is he going to be good now? I don't know. Because I don't know enough about his kit, to be completely honest. I'm sorry. Thor, optimize the feel of using Rune Awakening. Remove the global cooldown time after the duration of Rune Awakening skill ends. Okay. I don't think that's really going to matter that much. Yeah. Thor players, let me know in the comments. Do you think this is? It doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me. Increase Groot's threatening combat range. Okay, the maximum selection distance of Thorn Lash Wall, has been increased from 15 meters to 18 meters. All right, so you can place your walls a little further now, which is very nice. I did feel a little limited by the range I could place them in certain circumstances, like especially during my ult, because usually they're a little further away from me. So in the combo is you throw your ult at them and you put a wall up behind them and throw your acorn or your seed at them. I try to avoid saying throw your seed at people because everyone loves to talk about that in the comments. Looking at you, Ted, if you're watching this. I don't know a single person named Ted. It's so stupid. I'm sorry. I'll cut that part out. Magneto. Slightly reduced survivability, slightly increased defensive ability. Honestly, I think that's okay for him. His survivability is insane. It's so hard to remove a good Magneto from the field. But I think making him swing a little harder might honestly be a little busted because he already hits like a truck as a tank. The projectile damage of Magnetic Orb has been increased from 35 to 40. All right, 5 damage isn't real. I'd be interested to see if that makes or breaks any of his combos, like whether or not they kill quicker or not. The energy consumed per second during the electromagnetic Iron Curtain has been increased from 50 to 65, and the maximum duration has been been reduced from 2 seconds to 1.5. Energy consumed per second during electro. So his shield is gonna be a little more effective at charging. No. It's just all right. I think this is all just adding up to it's up for zero point 0.5 less of a second. Um, so that the energy thing is just how they got it to last for 1.5 seconds instead of, I guess it used to last for 2 seconds. So his shield's gonna be a little less useful, and you'll be able to punish him after it a little more consistently because it's up for less long. So now you just have to wait 1.5 seconds and throw something at him. Doctor Strange slightly reduced Doctor Strange's survivability. I'm not surprised that Strange got nerfed, although this honestly isn't that big of a nerf. Base health has been reduced from 650 to 600. Okay, so he's going to be a little easier to kill, but I think Doctor Strange is still going to be just as good as he was. I would not be shocked if this doesn't change his place in the meta at all. All right, the Duelists. It looks like they didn't tweak the Vanguards a whole lot. I'm shocked I didn't see any Hulk nerfs, to be completely honest. But that is all the changes that they made for the tanks. So let's get into the Duelist. Iron Fist increased Lin Lai's continuous combat ability, provided new functionality for Sun Fist Rush, and gave Lin Lai more battlefield gameplay options. Okay. The damage of the first, second, and fifth stages of Interception Fist has been reduced from 32 to 30, and the third and fourth stages have been reduced from 16 to 15, and the sixth stage has been reduced from 55 to 50. Each hit has a little less damage now. Time of continuous elimination in strikes by 1 second, and the damage of each hit of Sun Fist Rush has been reduced from 19 to 10. A new effect has been added to each hit, dealing damage equal to 1.7% of the opponent's maximum health. Okay, so now he deals damage according to the opponent's max health. Did he always have Iron Fist mains? Let me know. Is that new? Looks like a new effect has been added to each hit of. Okay, yeah. So he now has percentage health based damage, which I think is kind of nuts. So they did nerf the damage a little bit on the overall ability, but I think this more than is probably going to make up for it, especially against tanks. Is this going to make him a new Wolverine type character? Because the best part about Wolverine is he does percentage based. So every attack does a percentage of the opponent's maximum health. So meaning if the more health you have, the more damage he's doing. So tanks, he kind of melts. This seems like it's sort of in that territory. So maybe they're trying to make melee characters a little more oriented towards taking out tanks. The upper limit of additional health attached to meditation has been increased from 50 to 150. And a new additional health decay mechanism has been added. After the skill ends, the additional health will decay at a rate of 25 per second. Okay. So he's gonna be more tanky, but he's gonna lose his tankiness more quickly. The maximum value of additional health converted from the block damage of continuous elimination and strikes has been adjusted from 150 to 200. Base health has been increased from 250 to 300. All right. I don't know about how I feel about this. I think Iron Fist is going to be pretty good in the second half of the season. I think he's already an all right character. I've seen quite a few one tricks succeed with him and do really well. I think this is only going to help him. I guess they did, in essence, nerf his damage a little bit, but I think they more than made up for that in tankiness and giving him the percentage based health damage. So really cool Iron Fist changes. Let me know in the comments how you feel about these. If you're an Iron Fist player, I think he's going to be in a better spot next season. Mr. Fantastic. He's made of plastic. Increase Mr. Fantastic's ability to harass enemies and increase the threat of his ultimate skill. I think he definitely needed this. I think I put him in the middle pack because I just don't have enough experience with him to rate him. But I actually think Mr. Fantastic, it just isn't that great, to be completely honest. I think he needs some love. So the range of the magic field after landing the stretch freely has been increased from 2.5 meter radius to a 5 meter radius, so twice as wide. Stretch freely now has a new effect of knocking enemies within the range outward after landing. The single charge recovery time of stretch freely has been increased from 8 seconds to 10 seconds. Okay. Stretch freely. Interesting. Um, yeah, I mean that seems like it's gonna be pretty good. The magic field damage of Intelligence Crush, his ultimate, has been Intelligence Crush. That's really what they called it. Or has been increased from 50 to 70. The energy required to release has been increased from 2,800 to 3,400, and a new magic field decay has been added. The magic field damage will start to decay at 3 meters and decay to a maximum of 50 at 10 meters. Okay. So he's got a little more damage in the epicenter of his ultimate, but it decays towards the outer perimeter, and they gave his stretch freely ability much larger radius and a longer duration. I don't know that these are enough to make him broken, but I think they're definitely gonna move him up a little bit at the very least. Iron Man. Ooh. Increase the damage of repulsor beam in normal state and armor overload state. Wait, what? Making it possible to deal considerable damage without relying on gamma overload. Yeah, great. Because he. So that where they're like, well, he's busted when Hulk's on the field, but nobody blames him when Hulk isn't on the field. So let's just make him stronger when Hulk's not on the field. The damage of a repulsor beam has been increased from 120 a second to 140 per second. So in 2 seconds, you can definitely get 2 headshots on Hela quicker than 2 seconds, but in 2 seconds, he's basically doing 2 Hela headshots with his beam. That's kind of wild. I mean, granted, it's only 20 more damage, but that's honestly a lot because that, I mean, it'll add up over the seconds, so that'll be 40 more damage over the 2 seconds. You're definitely gonna be nuking some things with him, more effectively than you were. The damage of repulsor beam armor overload has been increased from 80 a second to 190 a second. Okay, so they didn't nerf him at all, and they just gave him more damage on his laser beam if Hulk is not on the field. I like these changes. I think they're very good. I don't I don't know. It's it's possible that they're just all right and they'll make him feel a little bit more comfy. Or it's possible that he's going to be dominating our games this season and we'll replace Storm as top pick, top ban. I don't know. Let me know in the comments how you feel about these Iron Man changes. I think this is kind of nutty. That the damage was already really good, I think, for his laser beam, and just giving him even more when Hulk's not on the field is kind of wild. All right. Hawkeye. Uh-oh. Yeah, so Hawkeye kind of fell from grace, and I honestly don't even agree with it. I think he was just it. Like, they nerfed him a little bit, don't get me wrong. They did nerf him a little bit, so he wasn't quite as effective, but he's still the one-shot king, and I've still seen some good Hawkeye players in high elo run away with games on him because he's still just as good as he was, in my opinion. Maybe, like, a little worse, but I think people were tired of playing him, to be completely honest. Which is why the meta shifted so abruptly. Increased Hawkeye's survivability in threat and close combat, and increased the threat of Hawkeye's ultimate skill. Base health has been increased from 250 to 275, so it's going to be a little harder to kill. The projectile damage of blast arrow has been reduced from 20 to 15, and the magic field damage has been increased from 25 to 32. Okay, so I don't think anybody does anybody use blast arrow. I certainly didn't when I played him. You just use the regular arrow and shoot them in the head, right? Let me know in the comments. Any the Hawkeye mains, do you ever use blast arrow? The skill cooldown time of Crescent Slash has been reduced from 15 to 12 seconds. Very nice, so he can peel for himself a little more frequently. I think that'll be pretty good for his survivability. The drawing and charge speed during Hawk Vision has been increased, and the magnification has been increased from 1.2 to 1.35. Drawing and charging speed during Hawk Vision. Okay, so he's going to be able to draw his bow a little quicker. Interesting. Okay. Honestly, like I don't know. I don't think this is gonna bring him back into the meta, other than the fact that I think he's already strong in the meta anyway. And people might just rediscover that fact. I don't think these changes are that significant. Maybe the 250 to 275, and his survivability is gonna go up. All right, it's time. I I knew they were gonna do this because they made her too strong this season. She sucked in season 0. She didn't really suck. I think she was good, but she wasn't good enough for people to want to abuse her. So they made her strong enough for that to be the case. People started abusing her. She's top pick, top band right now in ranked, and there's too many. They nerfed my girl. Why? Like, they just want her to either be in the meta or out of the meta. No in between. All right. Reduce the threat to enemies at longer distances, reduce the buff effect of the aura on herself, and increase the buff effect of the aura on teammates. So she's going to give your team a little more utility, but she's going to give herself less utility. The damage decay of Windblade. Jesus. Words are hard. Learn from me. The damage decay of Windblade at 30 meters has been reduced from 70% to 60%. I don't I'd have to test this in the range to see if this is really a big deal, but this could definitely be a big deal because you're usually at range with her. So giving her fall off is probably gonna make or break some of the combos where she's gonna probably need to land one extra projectile, which is a big deal on her. Her projectiles are not that easy to land. Thankfully, they did not reduce the projectile speed though, which is what they increased and what I think really gave her the ability to start boxing characters at range, which she needs to be able to do. Because when she gets in close, she kind of needs to dump her storm and kill everyone. Otherwise, she just goes down. The damage increase ratio of thunderstorm weather on herself has been reduced from 16% to 12%. The damage increase ratio of teammates within the range has been increased from 8% to. All right, so your teammates will get 2% more damage. You're going to get 4% less damage. So overall, I mean, this is technically a buff depending on how many people are standing next to you, because as long as there's two people standing next to you, it basically counteracts the nerf of your own self damage. Now, that being said, you know, it's very situational when that. A lot of the times, I think it's just going to be worse. But it is technically better whenever you're standing next to two or three people. Um, so I don't know how I feel about this. The damage increase ratio of enhanced thunderstorm weather on herself has been reduced from 30% to 25%. She's gonna be slower. I honestly didn't use the speed buff as much as I used her lightning strike anyway, because it's just so much damage. If you get a good lightning strike on a team, you just basically instantly farm her ult, and they didn't change her ult charge at all, which I'm kind of shocked here. Honestly, I don't think this is enough to knock her out of the meta. It might knock her out of top pick, top ban, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know if this is quite enough. I'm actually, after reading these and thinking about them, I think these are actually pretty fair. And I think Storm is still going to be a very strong pick this season, or the second half of this season. But Storm mains, let me know in the comments. What do you think? Always happy to hear more input on this because I do think she's going to be slightly less valuable. I think she's still going to be an incredibly strong pick, and I wouldn't be shocked if she's still top pick, top ban, to be completely honest. Star Lord. Increased the maximum movable distance of Star-Lord and enhanced his mobility. The maximum skill energy of rocket propulsion has been increased from 1200 to 1800. Okay, so he's got more rocket fuel. Uh, Honestly, I think out of any change they could have given him, this one's probably fine. I've Star Lords are always hit or miss for me. I've seen some Star Lords basically do nothing and honestly cost us the game, and then I've seen some Star Lords basically win the game on their own. He's a very high skill character in my opinion. At the top elo, there's some very scary Star Lord players who will absolutely decimate your game and wish you had banned him. But I think that's more geared towards higher elo. I think in mid to lower elos, he's just an all right character. So I don't know. I don't think this is really going to change a whole lot about him, but it will make the characters who excel on him even stronger. Unfortunately, they'll be even better at getting in the background and harassing and getting out because they have more fuel to do it now. Scarlet Witch, is this gonna be enough? Probably not. Increased her survivability when casting. Yeah, she totally needed this, but she honestly needs something else. After reactivating Reality Warp, her ultimate skill, 100 additional health is added to herself after the skill ends or is interrupted. It will decay at a rate of 50. Okay. So it's still wholly CCable. So nothing's changing there. Mantis, anyone with CC can still ruin her day, and it'll immediately take the. It won't immediately. It'll take the health off of her after 2 seconds. I don't think 100 health is enough to make her live. She's already dying so fast in it. In her ultimate, I think 100 additional health is not going to stop the team from nuking her. She would need more than that. Honestly, like, why doesn't she get the same armor that Storm gets in hers? I don't want her to have it because then her ult, like, if they make this ult hard to deal with, it will be one of the best ultimates in the game, hands down. That's why I think it's intentionally made so that you have to have another character with her to make it strong, like Magneto. If Magneto shields her while she's ulting, then it's incredibly powerful. You just have to run away. You have to respect it. Um, and I don't think they want her in a place where she's self-sufficient at her ult. Like there's no counterplay to it because it is an incredibly powerful ult if you can't kill her out of it. But unfortunately, as it is, I don't think this is enough. Let me know if there's any Scarlet Witch mains. I know there's not many of you, but if you're in the comments, let me know how you feel about this. Do you think it's really going to be that big of a deal? I personally don't, but I'd be willing to listen to some arguments. Spider-Man slightly reduced the cooldown time of Web Grenade, reducing Spider-Man's offensive window period. The charge time of Web Grenade has been reduced from 3 seconds to 2.5 seconds. Okay, that's not that big of a deal. Um, yeah, I think Spider-Man honestly needed a little love. I know there's some really good Spider-Man players at the top elo, but there's also a lot of really bad Spider-Man players everywhere else. So, giving him a grenade zero point 0.5 seconds more often, I don't think is really that big of a deal. Um, I don't think it's gonna make him better though. Moon Knight. Increase the enemy's reaction time when facing Khonshu Fist and optimize the damage logic of Khonshu's Fist. Reduce the falling speed of Khonshu's Fist, corrected the damage trigger logic of Khonshu's Fist, removing the original mechanism that caused 75 damage when located in the center of the magic field, and adjusted it so that each damage of Khonshu's Fist is increased from 75 to 150. Okay, so I think they fixed the bug that people were abusing that made his ultimate busted, which is that needed to happen. I'm kind of shocked they waited until mid-season to fix that, but whatever. Um, I think it's still gonna be a good ultimate. It's just not gonna be broken like it used to be. Black Widow. she either headshots, she either one shots to the head or doesn't. And I doubt they're going to give her that. Increased combat capability, increase your threat to enemies after using her ultimate skill. Magazine capacity of Red Room rifle has been increased from 8 to 15. Okay, so she's got more ammo. That's not going to change much in my opinion. The deceleration effect of energy hole, her ultimate, on enemies has been reduced from 80% to 55%. Energy hole has a new effect of hitting enemies. Why do they? Was there supposed to be more? To be more, is this supposed to be a period? Actually, after looking at this, I think all of these are supposed to be periods. I think, yeah, if I remember correctly, this was translated from another language, which is probably why this is the case. All right, so this is probably it. I don't think there's actually supposed to be anything after it. I don't think this is enough to make her good. It might move her into B tier, but I doubt it. To be completely honest. Let's look at my girl. What'd you do to my girl? Slightly reduced damage ability, slightly reduced energy required to release ultimate skill. Slightly reduced energy required. Okay, okay. All right, we got a little buff. The base damage of Magic Sword Slash, normal state, has been adjusted from 45 to Magic Sword Slash? Normal state. Do they mean her whirl? I think they mean the whirl. Uh, which that's 5 damage off, honestly, isn't a big deal. I guess it adds up because you're supposed to hit multiple enemies with it. So it's going to technically be 5 off per enemy hit, which if you hit 4 enemies, that's 20 less armor and damage you're going to be dealing, but it's spread across 4 enemies. So I mean, honestly, like I don't think this is really that big of a deal. Um, it might make or break a couple of combos killing though. I'll have to lab that out. It's possible that one of her combos is less lethal or won't kill a 275 health character now, but we'll see. I'm gonna lab that out. Demon's Rage, normal state is when it just 80 damage per second to 72 per second. I mean, 80 damage per second was already huge. 72, I mean, it's 8 less damage. That's fine. I think this thing was already kind of like secretly busted and people just weren't using it because they all think the world is where it's at, where I think the demon is sleeper broken and people should be abusing it a lot more. The energy required to release Dark Child has been adjusted from 3700 to 3400. Yay! We get to alt more often as magic. I'm 100% okay with this. I think she's going to be better, honestly. Cuz I her ultimate can be incredibly game changing if you're good with it. You could always just die immediately, which has happened to me more than I care to admit. But you can also one shot healers in their ultimates. If you can do there's a thing you do where her with her whirl attack where you can cancel it with her E dash. Well, you can actually do that with I'm fairly certain every single one of her abilities in her ultimate. So her ultimate fire, if you charge her ultimate fire and throw it up and hit them with it, and then cancel it with the E, you will one shot. I want to say maybe even Luna in her ult, but maybe not Luna. But almost every other support, even in their ultimate, if you hit them with both of those at the same time, you will kill them outright. So she's incredibly strong right now. There's also another tech that I just discovered where you can actually body block certain ultimates with her portal and iframe them. I watched a video of a magic literally body blocks an Iron Man ult by portal. Like she dashes up in the air, waits for the ult to action, the projectile to actually start coming out, and then she portals right in front of him through him. So she iframes the damage, but the portal is still body blocks the projectile, and so the ultimate does nothing. It just explodes in Iron Man's face. It's amazing. Definitely some magic tech that I will be making a video about later. So look forward to that, magic mains. But honestly, overall, I would say this is pretty much a wash, in my opinion. If not, maybe a little bit of a buff. Because I think giving her ult more often more than makes up for the slight damage nerfs they did here. But let me know, Magic Mains, in the comments. I'd be more than happy to hear your take on it because I think she's going to be fine. Increased Hellas' suppressive ability when facing mid to long range enemies. Don't tell me they buffed her. The damage decay ratio of Soul Drain at 30 meters has been increased from 70% to 80%. Soul Drains are stun, right? I'm fairly certain Soul Drain is her stun. What? The damage decay ratio of Soul Drain at 30 meters has been increased from 70% to 80%. This makes it like I'd be interested to see the literal translation of this, or like what the English version of this, because to me that means they increase the decay ratio, which means it decays faster, which is not a buff, it's a nerf. So I honestly don't know what they mean here. I think it because they said it increased Helen's suppressive ability, not decrease. So I'm gonna assume this is actually it does slightly more damage at range, but correct me if I'm wrong. Somebody let me know in the comments. Um, I don't think this is consequential at all towards Helen's playstyle. She's a left click character. She's always gonna be one. So if they nerf her actual left click damage or increase it, that'll be a big deal. But until they do that, I honestly don't see a big shift. Plus her ultimate, which I think is incredibly powerful, even though I know I've had a lot of people tell me her ultimate's not that good. Strange can block it. Of course, every Hela knows to track Strange levitate because they know he's basically one of the few counters for it. And you get full vision on the enemy team, which I think in and of itself is busted. But I'll for another video. I think Hela's still going to be just as strong as she was, and I'm shocked that she fell off so quickly in season 1 because I think she's still like if you get a good Hela, I've carried multiple games in Celestial by playing Hela. She's crazy. All right, Strategists. Let's see. Adam Warlock. Increased damage ability and slightly increased healing ability after turning on Soul Link. The damage of quantum magic has been increased from 55 to 60. The damage decay at 40 meters has been increased from 50 to 60%. The healing amount of Soul Link to linked heroes has been increased from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. All right, so you'll get healing amount of Soul Link. Okay, so I think the duration, it's just on them for longer. The damage of quantum magic. So he has more damage, and his Soul Link stays on whoever you link for 5 more seconds, which is pretty significant. What was that? It was a 50% increase, right? Yeah, I mean that's a lot. I don't know if this is really enough to bring him into the meta though, because honestly, like that, his issue is his ultimate isn't as good as the other characters. So I'm hoping I'm seeing some alt nerfs down here, which good. I see the right characters down here. All right, Cloak and Dagger increase survivability during ultimate skill release. What? Reduce the. Come on. She's gonna live through it more easily. That's not cool. Is Magneto still gonna be able to kill her? Reduce the frequency of ultimate skill release, the duration of the ultimate skill, and the strength of the ultimate skill. Increase the threat of cloak state to enemies. They make cloak more threatening? No. Stop it. What are they doing? All right. The energy required for Light and Shadow, which is their ultimate skill, has been increased from 3,400 to 4,000. Yes. We definitely needed that. So they're going to ult less often. Very good. The duration of a single state of Light and Shadow has been reduced from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, and the interval between each stage has been reduced from 1 second to 0.67 seconds. The healing effect in the stage is no longer superimposed, and only one stage of healing effect is applied when multiple stages overlap. Good. Good. Because that shit was busted. So if you didn't know, you could just dash back and forth on the same line and stack those lines of healing, and they would stack on top of each other. So good Cloak and Dagger players would usually at least overlap 2 of those streams, which would make you nigh and fucking possible to kill while the ultimate was on the ground. So I'm so happy they nerfed that, because I think honestly, like, this was in certain circumstances better than Luna ult, because if you stacked enough of those enough of the healing lines, that you would out heal a Luna ult. It was crazy. The camera control is unlocked during the release of Light and Shadow. The vulnerability ratio of Fear and Cloak to enemies has been increased from 20% to 28%. Of Fear to Cloak. Okay, so Cloak. So his debuff on them goes from 20 to 28%. That's on. I don't know. I thought they were gonna make it, maybe make his like primary fire where he just channels more damage, which would have been wild because you don't have to aim that. And any ability that deals damage that you don't have to aim feels very bad for people to play into. It just doesn't feel good because there's very little counterplay, or there's a lot less counterplay, because then your movement doesn't matter because they're gonna hit you no matter what you're doing. So all in all, fantastic change. Reduce the frequency of ultimate skill release. Yes, the energy required for Symphony of Destiny. I just wanna dance all day with my friends. She's gonna dance less often, which we should all rejoice. Going from 4,000 to 4,500. Very good change. I wish they did maybe nerf the shield that she gets a little bit when she's ulting, but you can shoot it off. So overall, any nerf to support ultimates at this point, I'm taking. So I'm happy with this change. I honestly think it might not be quite enough for Luna Snow, but I think they nerfed Cloak harder, in my opinion, than Luna. But whatever. Reduce Loki. Reduce the frequency of ultimate skill release, slightly increase sustainability. The energy required for God of Mischief has been increased from 3,400 to 4,000. Okay. Again, support's going to be ulting less frequency. Love to see it. The magazine capacity of Fate's Favor has been increased from 10 to 12. Okay, fair enough. Um, Means he's going to be able to shoot 2 more projectiles, either damaging or healing people. I don't think that makes up for the nerf that they're giving him, but I think he kind of needed the nerf because Loki's almost always just copy other support ultimates anyway. And if this remained the same, it would basically make him better than these supports using their ultimates. So that perfect change. Mantis, what'd you do to my girl? Slightly reduced survivability during ultimate skill? No. Hers was like the least impactful. Out of all the support ultimates that are top tier, I think Mantis's was the lowest, but still top tier. The upper limit of additional health provided by Soul Resonance has been adjusted from 100 to 75. All right, so you're going to get 25 less health while you're ulting. Be interested to see if this gives anybody else on the cast the ability to one-shot her and her ult. Iron Man and Magneto can for sure do it. Magic can do it. Hawkeye, I think, might be able to do it. I'd have to test Hawkeye. I'm definitely going to lab this out. But if there's any other Mantis mains in the comments that already know if this literally does allow another character to one-shot you in your ultimate, let me know who it is in the comments, and I appreciate you. Invisible Woman. Reduce the frequency of ultimate skill released 4,000 to 4,300. My ring light just fell over. It's alright, I'm almost done with the video. You don't need to see my face. Yeah, again. Support ults already super busted. They're going to be happening less often, and I am 100% down to clown with this. I really like these changes for the supports. I honestly think they could have been a little more, but I'm happy that they're doing something. Little changes are fine, because if they're still strong after this, I'm sure they'll take another pass, and little by little they'll put them in the right place so that they don't feel like the games are made or basically right now. The games do revolve around how good your supports are at using their ultimates. It's just a fact. It's what the meta is right now. It'll change, I promise. They are changing up the team ups. Love to see it. Reduce the damage ability of Gamma Overload. All right. So this makes a little more sense. In line with that Iron Man buff is they're reducing the buff that he gets. So damage of Repulsor Beam in Gamma Overload has been reduced from 220 to 200 per second. The health bonus provided by the Synergy Core to Hulk has been reduced from 150 to 100. So Hulk has 50 less health. I don't think that matters at all. And you're going to have 20 less damage per second, which I think 200 is still a lot. And I don't see this really changing that much because Iron Man's going to have more value without Hulk on the field now. And he's still going to be just as strong with Hulk on the field, in my opinion. I think this is more like a stepping stone to get them into a better place, but I honestly don't see this changing much. I think Hulk's still going to be top pick, top ban because of his synergy with both Strange and Iron Man. Like, if you take him out of the field, you remove both of their hero buffs from being able to be applied and make them slightly less valuable, although I think Strange will still easily see playtime. I think Iron Man might see a little less playtime. We'll see. Bionic Disc. Further increase the continuous combat capability of Black Panther and Psylocke. The flashback time of riding Psylocke has been reduced from 5 seconds. They called it riding. Who named it that? Stop it. Get help. Has been reduced from 5 seconds to 3 seconds. The ratio of converting lost health to blue arbor has been increased from 0.5 to 0.8. Flashback time of Wakanda Hitchhike has been reduced from 5 that's funny too. 5 seconds to 3 seconds. The ratio of converting lost health to blue armor has been increased from 0.5 to 0.8. Okay. I honestly don't see this team up used very often, to be completely honest, because it usually means you're gonna have. Usually, you only want like magic. Usually, you only want one of these characters, to be completely honest, on your team. Having 2 of them can work if you have like a full dive comp, but normally it's just one. which means you're really not going to see the benefit of this. But that being said, like if you're in quick play, try this out because the teleport is actually kind of wild, and you'll just piss if you're the Panther or the Psylocke player and you play them basically behind the enemy team, so you're always in their back annoying them, and then you have a teleport to get you out. You will be such a nuisance, and they will hate you. I promise. But again, it's just not that strong of a team up ability, in my opinion. There's a lot more abusable team ups that I see at higher elo. So I'd be interested. I don't think this will change much, to be completely honest. I think it's a nice change for them, but honestly, not going to change the meta. Full moon, increased moon knight survivability after release. Can you tell that I was better at math and science and not not English? All right. Full moon. Increased moon knight survivability after releasing the synergy skill. New effect of looking at the moon continuously provides 25-second healing to moon knight within the range? What? What? I didn't know he had this to begin with, but okay. So moon knight has a self heal. Looking at the moon continuously. That's funny. I had no clue this even was a thing, so that's pretty funny. Enhance the survival symbiote bond. So this is Penny, Spider-Man, Venom. Enhance the survivability of the repulse suit for Penny Parker and Spider-Man. The duration of Spider-Man's repulse suit has been reduced from 4 seconds to 1 second. The 50% damage reduction effect has been removed, and the new invincibility effect has been added during the duration. So he's invincible? Huh? Okay, so it only happens for 1 second. The 50% damage reduction effect has been removed, and a new invincibility effect has been added to... Alright, so it's gonna last significantly less long, which is good, but he's immune? I don't know how I feel about this. This could be pretty game changing, depending on like how, because you're immune now, which I mean that basically means you could body block ultimates and completely stop them with it now. Anything with iframes, you can kind of abuse in a lot of situations where, yeah, this is going to be interesting. I think it's going to add a lot of utility to Spider-Man that maybe that people didn't anticipate. I think he's going to be able to straight up body block certain ultimates now, in not take any damage. That's kind of wild. The duration of Penny Parker's repulse suit has been reduced from 4 seconds to 2 seconds to 50 days. So she's also gonna have a 2-second iframe. So she's also gonna have the chance, although she's less mobile, so than Spider-Man. So she might not have as many use cases, but iframes are incredibly valuable. If Magic hasn't already proven that with some of the stuff she can do with her portals. I don't know how I feel. I think this might be the best hero team buff that we see. Definitely over the other ones, and there's only one more to go. Increase the skill effect of Iceman's synergy skill. The healing amount of Southwind returns has been increased from 50 to 75, and the deceleration ratio to enemies has been increased from 20% to 30%. Okay. I honestly never even, because I don't play either of these characters, so 25 more health has been increased from 20% to 30%. I don't know. I don't know how this doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me either. The biggest one for sure is going to be this one. I feel like they might have made these two very annoying if Venom's on the field, because they'll both, one gets 1 second iframe ability that has a relatively short cooldown, and the other gets a 2 second iframe ability, and I don't know what the cooldown on that is, but out of all the hero abilities, this one's wild. Let me know how you feel about this in the comments. But I think this will definitely be the one that we see the most get abused the most in the second half of this season. But all right, I mean that's all the changes. A lot of good changes, honestly. I don't think there were too many that I was disappointed with. And overall, I'm looking forward to the second half of season 1. Let me know how you feel in the comments. Do you think these are good changes or not? And if not, you know, let me know why. I really do love hearing people's reasoning. So like, I mean, don't just leave me a lazy ass quote saying this is stupid. Please explain. Like, I'm okay if you think it's stupid, but explain why you think it's stupid. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to help me out. Till next time, stay frosty.